All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022, and of course, we just finished with Week 10 of the NFL, so it's only natural that, Week 11 NFL Pick'em is due up, and last week didn't go so good. It was an upset week, and we just didn't pick any of the upsets. It was something we thought about while we were making the video, if you remember. We're like, the entire time, we're like, it's either going to be an upset week or we have a really, really, really good week, and then we went 6-8. We didn't see any of the upsets. Sometimes it happens that way. It's like, I don't think anyone did particularly strong. There was a few people I remember that did pretty good, but hey, it happens. You don't always get them right. That brings me to an 82-67-1 record overall in Pick'em, so still pretty good, but last week was certainly not the greatest, so let's just hope Week 11 gives us some good luck. Let's hope we can just forget about a bad Week 10 and move ahead into Week 11 and, just kind of see if we can get back on the ball. As always, make sure you leave a like if you enjoy the video, or if you just want to help it out, make it do a little better. As we found out, leaving likes, or saying something about the likes early in the video actually helps it perform better. So if you could do that, that helps out. We're actually 40 subs away from 8,000 subscribers. So, we're getting pretty close to hitting the 8,000 sub goal we set at the beginning of the year. So I appreciate that as well. Thank you so much to everyone who's been liking and subscribing the videos and leaving your picks in the comment section, so be sure to do that as well. We always get back to those, and we always make sure to get all the comments that we can. Some might slip through, but very often they don't. So yeah, that's all the YouTube stuff. Leave a like, subscribe, and leave your picks down below so I can get back to them, so I can see how you're doing on your pick 'em. It's always a fun thing to do. So all right, let's get into it. Week 11, we have some bye weeks, of course. We have 4 teams off. We have the Jaguars, Dolphins, Buccaneers, and Seahawks. So all right, that's whatever. The Jags and the Seahawks, I'm sure the Jaguars, whatever, but these 3 other teams probably could use a week off. Also, it's I don't know, these are like 3 decent teams, 3 potential playoff teams. Dolphins are the 2nd seed in the AFC right now, so that's pretty interesting. And then you have the Buccaneers, the Seahawks, 2 teams that have been playing. Actually, whatever. Who cares? Anyway, these are the teams that are off this week. If you're a fan of one of these teams, you might have to watch your least favorite team hopefully lose, or, your second favorite team win, other team you root for. Anyway, these are the teams that are off, though, so there's only 14 games to go over this week, so let's jump right into it. This is probably one of the better games of the week that'll require a little bit of analysis compared to a lot of these other ones you'll see. But the Tennessee Titans take on the Green Bay Packers. Titans are 6-3, coming off a 17-10 win versus the Broncos. Packers 4-6 off a 31-28 win versus the Cowboys. Packers are surprisingly 3-point favorites with an over/under of 41.5. And as always, the lines are included from FanDuel.com. They don't really influence who I pick in the game. I put those in after, so I was very surprised to see the Packers are favored in this game. Here's kind of my thought process here. The Packers have struggled pretty hard on offense this year, minus the last game they just played against the Cowboys, a team that Aaron Rodgers and company seem to play well against. Rodgers might have an idea of how to play them because of the former head coach, being the coach of McCarthy, being the coach of the Cowboys. One thing that I think not many people talk about with Tennessee this year is their defense is really good, very underrated. And in the last 2 games, I think I seen a stat, they have 50 plus pressures. And with a team like the Packers, who are struggling on the offensive line, struggling to have consistency on offense, running into a team that can put that kind of pressure on a quarterback and get after the quarterback like that could really disrupt a team that is just starting to get their feet underneath them based on the Cowboys game. Plus, I don't know how the Cowboys are going to or the Packers are going to do with Derrick Henry. I think the run has been kind of their Achilles heel this year in terms of their defense, so we'll see how that plays. I think the Packers should get a little bit of respect at home, but ultimately I think this might be a defense that's a little too much for them, and I think the Titans being a run-first team with Derrick Henry and company, it's kind of a lot to stop for the Packers. So in this game, I'm probably going Titans over the Packers, mainly because I think the Titans defense overwhelms the Packers offense that hasn't really shown any life yet. Plus, I think Vrabel's just a better coach than LaFleur, so should be a pretty good game, though. Probably the best Thursday game we've had in a while. I'm pretty excited for it. All right, Sunday, 1 o'clock, we have the Chicago Bears taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are 3-point favorites with an over/under of 50.5. Bears are 3-7, coming off a 31-30 loss versus the Lions. And the Falcons are 4-6 off a 25-15 loss versus the Panthers. I have no idea how this game's going to play out. But I think one of the things you can take away from the Bears is they do seem to do all right against the run. The pass is something that, isn't really their thing. Their defense is kind of so-so. So Atlanta should be able to kind of run it and kind of score points. But I think one of the ways the Bears typically are losing games is like, I think quarterback play is carving them up. And one of the ways that Atlanta struggles is if they have to depend on the pass at all. And I think one of the things the Bears can do is take away a run from a team, like they did it to the Patriots and shut them down. I don't remember the Lions running particularly well against the Bears, but they passed the ball particularly well. And that is something Atlanta just doesn't do right now. And it's one of them things where it's like, yeah, if Atlanta had a better quarterback than Marcus Mariota, they'd probably win this game. But with Atlanta struggling to stop certain types of defenses, especially running teams, we've seen how well the Panthers were running against them. So the Bears are probably going to do way big damage like that, and the Bears have been super explosive running the ball, so I kind of think this is pretty much purely in the Bears' court. Plus, I'm reinstituting the rule. You don't pick the Atlanta Falcons. Number one rule. You do that, you get burned like I did last week, like a freaking idiot. I can't believe I fell for picking the Panthers again. I'm never doing that again. What a stupid guy. Fucking retard me. God dang it. Anyway, the Carolina Panthers take on the Baltimore Ravens. There isn't much of a game here. The Ravens are 12.5 point favorites with an over-under of 43.5. Ravens at home off a bye. Panthers coming off a 25-15 win versus the Falcons. So that's 2 wins in the division for the Panthers, and they've been awful against everybody else. So, all right, go ahead and give me the Ravens in this one. Will the Panthers be able to keep it close? Maybe because Baker's playing, but I sincerely doubt it. Bad offensive line. Half the reason PJ Walker was able to do things is because he can move around. Give me the Ravens in pretty easy fashion. The Cleveland Browns take on the Buffalo Bills is what's next. The Bills are 8.5 point favorites with an over-under of 43.5. The Browns are coming off a pretty big ass beating by the Dolphins, 39-17, and the Vikings are coming off a tough loss to the Vikings, 33-30. So in this game, I'm thinking that Cleveland, there could be like a lot of snow in this game, so that could like impact the way this game plays out, the way that the final comes out in this game. But otherwise, yeah, the Cleveland defense has been pretty bad this year. They get ran all over. You can pass all over them. And if that's the case, then I don't really see how the Browns are going to be able to stop the Bills, who are probably going to be looking for revenge. Their offense has been a little bit better. They were better against the Vikings. They just had a few mishaps. Allen's been kind of off, so I would imagine this is like a get-right game against a pretty bad defense. The last time you can kind of take advantage of the Browns prior to Deshaun Watson, so give me the Bills in a game where if the weather impacts it, it could be a little closer than what people think it could be. Oh boy, who gives a shit? Washington Commanders take on the Houston Texans. Commanders are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 40.5. The Commanders are 5-5 off a 32-21 win versus the Eagles. A shock win, put the Eagles up with their first loss. The Texans are coming off a 24-16 loss to the Giants. And I don't really see this game being very fun, worth watching. Chase Young is reactivated in this game, so good luck to the Texans. Give me the Commanders in a pretty dominating win. And hey, Commanders over 500. What a shock. All right, let's see the next slate of 1 o'clock games. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the Indianapolis Colts. Eagles are 6.5 point favorites with an over-under of 44.5. We've already gone over the Eagles lost their game to the Commies. I put Commies there because it's like way funnier that if you put the Eagles lost to the Commies, and they're 8-1 now because they lost to them. But they're still 8-1. They're still one of the better teams in football. And then we have the Colts, who got their win under Jeff Saturday. They won 25-20 in Saturday's big debut, despite everybody saying they're going to suck and that they're going to lose by 1,000,000 points or whatever they were saying. So now they have to play the Eagles, an actual test, not a team in the Raiders who just can't seem to find any identity. While I think the Colts could stay in this game because their offensive line did play a lot better than it did in weeks past, their offense looked a little better. I don't know if this is the best team to have to go up against. Again, division games are always going to kind of be weird. Those always have a different kind of edge to them, so those are always the riskiest games for a good team to play. But I don't know. Until we see some consistency out of the Colts, because remember, they've had good games this year where they look good and then the next week they look bad. Look good, look bad, look bad, look good, look bad. So it's kind of been this like weird pattern for the Colts all season long, a very inconsistent play. So they look good against the Raiders. Can they look good against one of the better teams in the NFC? We'll find out Sunday. I don't think so personally, because I still think their line is bad. I still think their offense is bad. Their defense is pretty good, but again, their offense is like really bad. The Jets and the Patriots are playing each other. It's the Jets at the Patriots. Both teams are coming off a bye. The Jets are 6-3. The Patriots 5-4. The Patriots won their first meeting in pretty dominating fashion. I know the score was pretty close, but like I think that was like a garbage time touchdown. And anyway, the Patriots are 3.5-point favorites with an over/under of 38.5. I too would have the Patriots winning this game. I know it's going to come off as extremely biased, but I'm going to try to explain why. One of the ways the Jets were able to effectively move the ball against the Patriots all game long, almost on every big chance they needed, was throwing it to their large tight end Tyler Conklin. One of the problems with the Patriots is when they don't have a very specific player in their safety Kyle Duggar available, they have a very bad size advantage, mismatch, right? They have a very small secondary outside of Kyle Duggar, who covers the tight ends, who covers big bodies like Tyler Conklin. Now that they're going to have Duggar in this game, they're going to be able to take away Tyler Conklin and the tight end outlet for Zach Wilson, which was his main outlet in the game against the Patriots. I know he had Garrett Wilson a few times, and that was like a big connection, but that was when the Patriots started overcompensating for Conklin. That guy opened up a little bit. Now they don't have that opening up happening, so I don't know how the Jets are going to effectively move the football, especially against the Patriots defense that's been we see what they can do against the Colts. So take into account the Patriots defense is going to be getting after Wilson. They're going to have a week to prepare for the Jets. They're going to have their best safety back to cover Tyler Conklin to move the ball. So I kind of like that about the Patriots. They should be able to shut the Jets offense down. Will they be able to do enough against the defense? Well, they were last time. So give me the Patriots over the Jets. It would be easier to pick the Jets also if they hadn't it's a 6.5 year losing streak for the Jets, right? It's like 13 straight games. If the Jets do win this game, I wouldn't be surprised, but until they actually beat them again, it's hard to pick them. Plus, I think taking away Conklin really slows their offense down. All right, let's see. The Los Angeles Rams take on the New Orleans Saints. This will be a pretty boring game that not many people will give a shit about. The Saints are 3.5-point favorites with an over/under of 39.5. The Rams are coming off a 27-17 loss to the Cardinals, and the Saints are coming off a 20-10 loss to the Steelers. Not going to spend a lot of time on this game. Also, I don't really know if Matthew Stafford's going to play. I feel like that makes a huge kind of difference, but Cooper Kupp is out. Matthew Stafford could be out. A bunch of people might just be missing for the Rams offense. We don't really know what's going on until the week goes on. But as it stands, give me the Saints over the Rams because the Rams are a complete mess. Was this the final 1 o'clock game? Yep, final 1 o'clock game here. It's the Detroit Lions taking on the New York Giants in New York. Lions coming off it. Well, we already talked about that. They won 31-30. The Giants beat the Texans 24-16. We already talked about that. Giants are 3-point favorites with an over/under of 45.5. Yeah, I have the Giants winning this game. I want to pick the Lions. This is a possible upset game, but one of the things the Giants do particularly well to score the football and move the football is running the football. One of the things the Lions are very bad at doing is stopping the run. They gave up 250 yards to the Bears running, and typically the way they lose a lot of games is via the run. So the Giants, a running football team that stops teams with their defense, is playing a team that can't stop the run, and their offense can be stopped. It's not like the Lions have this unmovable offense. They've been stopped several times this year. So plus it's in New York. They kind of have that home advantage, a pretty rabid home audience when they're good. So while I like the Lions, I think they're a good little team. They're playing much better than when they started the year. I think this is a bad team for them to play and a huge mismatch just due to the fact that the Giants with Barkley and Jones run the ball very effectively. So give me the Giants in a win where the Lions will probably stick around the whole game, but the Giants ultimately can ace it out with their run. 4 o'clock games coming up. Well, like I said, there's a lot of games where you just kind of look at them this week and go, Jesus Christ, who gives a fuck? And here's one of them. The two of the most underperforming teams I think I've ever seen, probably in league history. These Raiders and these Broncos, I don't think I've ever actually seen two teams with more talent just wildly underperform what they should be. The Raiders are 2-7. The Broncos are 3-6. Both of them are coming off a 25-20 loss and a 17-10 loss respectively. Broncos are favored by 2.5 with an over/under of 41.5. Only reason I got the Broncos winning this game is because they're home, and it's really hard to pick the Raiders. I'm done picking the Raiders because every time I pick them, I've gotten them wrong this year. Like literally, I've never picked them right. And I'm 0 for 9 on picking the Raiders. So knowing my luck, they'll probably win this game 97-0 somehow. But anyway, in all seriousness, though, I think the Broncos have a really good defense this year. But their offense is dog shit, and I think the Raiders probably will struggle with dealing with this Broncos defense. So give me the Broncos in a game like only their fans, not even their fans might watch. They might just watch something else. All right, here's a good game actually. Here's the other good game of the week. I'm actually excited. What's the next one? Oh yeah. The Dallas Cowboys take on the Minnesota Vikings. We already know both of these teams. The Cowboys lost 31-28. The Vikings won 33-30 versus the Bills. The Cowboys come in 6-3. Vikings are 8-1, the second best team in the NFC due to the fact that they lost to the Eagles. So, tie goes to the Eagles. Cowboys are 1.5 point favorites, surprisingly, with an over/under of 47.5. I know it's not a 1 p.m. game, but 4 p.m. games are kind of like the same thing. It's not a primetime game, so it's not a big deal for Kirk. So there is still there's no primetime Kirk Cousins going on. Yeah, I don't know. I like with the so okay, here's the thing, right? If the Cowboys were still playing impeccable defense, I would pick the Cowboys to win this game going away with it. But the problem is, I'm pretty sure the Cowboys' last few games has been like they gave up 30 to the Bears. They gave up 28 to the Packers. And I feel like I'm missing a game where they also gave up like 30 points to somebody in Dax. Oh, the Lions. The Lions scored a bunch of points on them too. No, that's incorrect. I'm missing a game where it seems like the last couple games though, they've been giving up quite a few points. And I think there was a third game where they also gave up quite a few points where it's like, oh, maybe the Dallas defense is cracked a little bit and teams are figuring out how to score on them. I apologize for saying the Lions. I don't think it was them. I do apologize. And I should know the answer to the thing I'm talking about, but anyway. So I with the Vikings and the Packers, I'm looking at this going, if the Dallas defense struggled with the Packers offense that has been bad the last couple games, and they also struggled with the Bears offense that's completely one-dimensional run-based, the Vikings, who can run and pass very, very well this year, are probably going to be able to take advantage of a Cowboys defense that's been taken advantage of in almost consecutive weeks. So give me the Vikings in a 30-27 win in which the Cowboys defense doesn't look as good as it has at the start of the year. Again, they've looked bad the last couple games, and that might be a sign of something. Vikings just seem to be winning too. They seem to be hard to beat. Anyway, this is my upset pick of the week. The Bengals are coming off a bye. The Steelers are coming off a 20-10 win versus the Saints. Bengals are 4.5 point favorites with an over/under of 41.5. So my upset picks go like this. I don't have to provide any real insight other than I feel it deep in my gut that the Steelers are going to win this game. They have this weird they just kind of beat the Bengals. I don't know what it is. You could put a terrible Steelers team against the best Bengals team, and it feels like the Bengals are going to lose that game, especially in Pittsburgh. This is a complete pride game. If the Steelers win one more game this year, this is the game they're going to try to win. JJ, Watt is back. They have him. TJ Watt's back. I don't know. I feel like this is just an upset, so I'm going to go with an upset here. I know it's crazy. I'm probably wrong, but... All right, Kansas City Chiefs take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Chiefs are 6.5 point favorites with an over/under of 50. So this game, the Chargers are coming off a 22-16 win or loss versus the 49ers. Chiefs are coming off a 27-17 win versus the Jags. So here's how I think this game is going to go. Due to the fact the Chargers are probably going to be without Allen and Williams again this game, based on the early reports. They're probably not going to be able to keep up and score. They weren't able to really do anything versus the 49ers. While I think the Chiefs have a not as good a defense as the 49ers, so I think the Chargers will keep in this game a little bit. Ultimately, I do think the Chiefs win. Again, the Chargers defense has been kind of underwhelming this year. They played a little bit better against the 49ers, who are kind of not that good at offense anyway. But the Chiefs offense has been sharp this year. They've been good. I can't really make too many jokes about it. Though I'd like to make fun of Kansas City and pick them to lose. That's why I'm bummed out about the Chargers. I'd love to pick the Chargers to win here, but I can't. They're just not playing good football. So give me the Chiefs over the Chargers. It's a coaching advantage. Chiefs offense has been better than the Chargers, who are banged all up. If the Chargers were healthier, I'd probably pick them, by the way. But again, in the defense for the Chargers, though they've been a little bit better, it's just they've been so inconsistent. I can't pick them. Hopefully it's a good game, though. All right, final game of the weekend. It's the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. We've talked about all their games by now. The 49ers are 8-point favorites with an over-under of 43.5. Niners coming off a win. Cardinals also coming off a win. So that's always interesting. But the thing is, this game's kind of hard to pick right now because I don't know if Kyler Murray's playing, and that seems like it's going to make a difference. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, actually, I don't think it's going to. The 49ers defense has been playing really good this year, especially up front. They're going to get after that front. They're going to make it so the Cardinals have trouble moving the football on anything but the pass. And the 49ers offense, like the defense through the air, has been really good too. So I don't know. It just seems like a mismatch here. Can the Cardinals defense really do much against the 49ers offense that can run the ball really well? They can sometimes throw. It's like coaching mismatch. Again, if I'll probably re-examine this specific game and the Saints game on Saturday with like a closer eye once I know like the quarterback situations. But if no Kyler Murray, no shot in hell for the Cardinals in this one. The 49ers aren't the Rams. The 49ers are a better team right now. So give me the 49ers in a game where they'll probably win mostly on their defense and Christian McCaffrey. All right, there's my picks this year. So, I had a good run there for 3 weeks, and then everything the bottom sort of fell out there this last week. So let's just hope that's not a sign of things to come. Let's hope that's just an aberration to an otherwise good turnaround coming in the season. So anyway, that's week 11 down the drain. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll try to get out of here pretty quickly in the next 40 seconds. Again, if you can, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening still, make sure you leave your picks, all that YouTube mumbo jumbo garbage, blah blah blah. But anyway, yeah, that's week 11, so I appreciate you guys listening. Again, thank you so much to everyone who's helped out with the channel by subscribing, leaving likes, and commenting and all that. It helps out quite a bit. So we're at week 11. I can't believe the season's closing so quickly. I'm very depressed about it because I already know in 2 months that we're going to be without football, and that's going to be a bummer. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Have a good rest of your day, night, morning, mid-afternoon, mid-evening, mid-morning thing. That time between lunch and dinner when it's like 3:30, whatever you want to call that. Happy holidays, and I don't know what to say to end the videos ever. All right, thank you guys for listening. Go Lions, go Tigers, and of course, it's always go Patriots. Have a good one whenever it is. Peace out, and later.